Yeah,
What's up with it? What's up with it?
we back.
In there like swimwear. What's happening?
Yeah, the Fiyah Session,
Right.
episode 140. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the title. Don't
Man.
get married.
What you say now? Hold on.
Don't.
What?
Some people might say is don't get married yet, but
okay.
hey,
that's true too. So
it could go a few different ways, and we definitely gonna get into the many directions that conversation could go tonight, because there's many different layers to it, right? I mean, of course, everybody got their opinion on what it is, and some people from experience, they've been there before, and they decided
5 and 6 times.
Yeah, and they decided to switch things up and not go back that route. But some people are still of that mind frame of I want to get married, maybe just not now, right? So and it's 2023, so some people just like I ain't getting married ever.
Nah, that we ain't doing that, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, forget that, right?
I've heard it more than ever, man. Like some people just like I ain't getting married at all. Period.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah. So before we get going with the topic, check in on everybody. Tris Michelle, how's your week started off?
It's good for today though. I don't know. I can't say it's the weather, but I had a very unexpected nap that I didn't want to take at all.
What do you mean an unexpected? Hold on.
Like I didn't.
Unexpected.
I wasn't tired. I didn't want it, and then just like I couldn't wake up.
And I didn't want it.
That's called when you get older. That happens.
Yeah.
That felt like I was drugged. I was like, yo, I could not get up like at all.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, I gotta get my life together. This podcast in a few hours. Get up, man.
Get you some rest. Get you some rest. Sometimes the body just be like, look here.
The body gonna take what it wants.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sit down. I need you to sit down for a minute. I know you've been.
Body said, look, we need this. Sit down.
Yes, sit down. Sit down.
Yup. Benji Banks, the man in the brand. What's good with you, my guy?
Man, it's been legit. I'm mad about something. I ain't gonna reveal that as of yet.
Well, how you gonna tell us you mad about something, but then ain't gonna tell us?
And now you got to. Like, that's not a thing.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to process this little situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I was planning to be over a particular region. You get what I'm saying? And then, the dude I'm training was given the spot. And I'm like, I don't know how I should feel about this. I'm training the dude. I'm in my feelings, but we're going to worry about that because I want to talk. The Cowboys and the 49ers come up this week. And yeah. And we got some beef. And we got some things going on. So, you know what I'm saying? I want us to, kind of talk about this for a little bit, King, because we there. We there. It's this week. It's Sunday night.
Ain't nothing to talk about.
What you mean?
There's nothing to talk about.
It's a game.
It's gonna be a game.
At this point, it don't mean anything. It's a game. You know what I'm saying?
It's just a game. That's
it. Yeah. So, I'm
if y'all lose, and Dak gets suck, what you gonna do?
Guess what? I'm gonna still do the same thing I've been doing every day. You know what I'm saying?
Rocking with the Cowboys.
Win or lose, I'm rocking with them, and it don't affect my mood at all. So, that's just what it is. So that's why I said I don't have anything to say when it comes to anybody the Cowboys play, because guess what? I'm gonna rock with them regardless, and if they win or lose, it is what it is. But I will say this, because Benji likes to talk noise. If we win. Oh boy!
Yeah. All the Cowboys fans go. Listen, I already know all the Cowboys fans gonna be coming, so I'm not tripping.
Only because Benji likes to talk. That's it.
Yes,
right. I don't usually go to people and have conversations, but I honestly just want to see a good game. Right, the two top tier teams.
That's true.
It shouldn't. We had our falter last week with week 4 with Arizona. And 49ers been rolling. They're playing good. They're a solid team. They're one of the most complete teams, if not the top complete team that I've seen in the NFL this season yet. So we will see.
It's gonna be a nice game.
Yeah, they got a really good offense. We got a really good defense. Something's got to give.
What time do they play? I don't even think I'm going to get
to see they on Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
So they're on Sunday night game. They're 5:30ish.
I might be home by then. I'm at the Eagles Rams game.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
My bad.
All right.
I'm supposed to be there.
All right. Well, we ain't gonna go too deep in on the sports today. Y'all know what the topic is. The topic is don't get married, right?
Don't get married.
And when Trisha Michelle actually came up with the idea, the concept for this episode, and we put some things out there, and we were looking for a title, and I said, you know what, me and Trisha Michelle were talking yesterday, and we had a title, and then I said, you know what, let's pivot. Let's, let's come up with something different, and don't get married seemed fitting because in my estimation, in my conversations with so many people, I've heard that countless times. I'm not getting married. I'm not getting married. I'm like,
and there's reasons usually behind it, right?
Yeah, but with us being 40 plus, I'm saying, Trisha Michelle not so much, but me and Benji 40 plus, and our generation especially, like that was the thing. Like eventually you were gonna get married at some point. Like that was everybody's, like that was on everybody's list. Right, but now 2023,
like hold on here, man. You know what I'm saying? So now I know I'm gonna ask this question, Patricia. Has anybody ever proposed to you?
Yeah, twice.
I just want to say, hold on. How you gonna ask her that? Do you see who she is and how she looks? By this time in her life, somebody's tried to put a ring on it. Somebody has tried to put a ring on it.
I'm asking that because obviously we know that, but then that leads us into the further along questions of why didn't this and why didn't that? Because there's always a reason behind the not getting married.
Well, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
When it's time, y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about why people don't necessarily get married. You know what I'm saying? And we'll ask Trisha Michelle why she shot those guys down.
Shot them down. Was it AK-47 or was it a 22?
I'm gentle, okay?
She let them down easy.
Until you're ready to punch somebody, huh? Until you're ready to.
I mean, can't nothing be gentle about that.
Yeah. Hey. All right. So we always like to start out with context, right? I like to make sure that we are clear on what marriage is. Everybody has these things in their head of what they've seen or what they've heard. But Webster's dictionary defines marriage as the state of being united as spouses in a consensual, that means agreed upon, and contractual relationship recognized by law. Okay, so it has to be all.
We got some actual marriages out there that ain't consensual.
I mean,
there's arranged marriage.
Yeah, in some other cultures. In some other cultures, yeah. But, for the most part in America, there has to be consensual because you got to go get the paperwork and you got to sign the what? Marriage certificate, right?
Papers, not the divorce ones.
So, with that being said, you got to sign the marriage certificate. People don't understand that a marriage is a what? Business agreement, right? You have to sign a contract. Just like when you have two merging entities, right? When you come to the table, you're an entity. You know what I'm saying? You have your assets. That other person has their assets. So in a sense of when we talk about a lot of conversations get had about prenups. So that's been in a lot of conversations lately. But people don't understand, and quite honestly, it's a lot of women that take offense to it when a guy says, I want a prenup. But you got to understand, in any situation, male or female, if somebody presents a prenup, it's not even the fact of, to me, a trust thing. It's, I got assets.
Right.
I'm a business. Like, I love you, but I have to protect my assets because at the end of the day, we're gonna all do what we need to do for us. Self-preservation, right?
Very true.
So I wouldn't take, offense to it. Trisha Michelle, would you take offense to it if a guy said, hey, I want to marry you, but I need you to sign this prenup? because I think it was Steven Jackson that's been in the
Yes,
conversation
he's been
lately.
yes.
Yeah, about that. And, you know, one of his previous, you know, fiancés didn't want to sign the paperwork. So Trisha Michelle, what do you feel about that?
I'm gonna say no, because I feel like in the same sense, in reverse, like there's things that I'm building too, but not to say we can't come together and build stuff and have things together. But
Right.
before you and before me, there were these things that were just yours. And I don't have rights to those, so to speak. Like literally to me, you don't. I mean, you get married and I know everybody's like, but team this, team that, what you had should be. I just get it. Like, and at the end of the day, not everything is permanent, although you would hope so. But
Yeah.
reality wise, it's not. And what everybody does when they hurt and bitter is try to take what's yours.
And those are totally different spaces to be in, because you could be in that happy space when you're talking about getting married, and then you get down the line when all the drama pop off and you and your feelings, and then feelings
And you
change.
want everything they got.
Exactly.
Yep, as the old folks say, hope for the best, plan for the worst.
I mean, you have to. That's reality.
Yep. Hey, they have insurance for a reason, right?
Facts.
In case some stuff happens. So, you know what I'm saying? That's all that, you know what I'm saying, you know, this situation is about. In case something happens, at the end of the day, like Trisha Michelle said, when you have two people come to, you know, a marriage that had things before, and if he or she had, you know, monies, assets, land, all that type of stuff, you know, yeah, you might have some rights to it afterward, but it's really about what you build together that you have exclusive rights to.
Right.
Anything that happened prior to you, you know, it's up to him or her to give you the right to that. So
Exactly.
The sense of entitlement can be pretty crazy when you're linking with people, and you never know what a person's motives is in most cases when you're officially getting married. You never know what their motives are. Maybe they are just marrying you for the money. So I can see why somebody would want to put a prenup in place.
Yeah.
So another thing is people don't understand that marriage takes a lot of work, right? I think you know, it's often talked about people see the weddings and they want the wedding, but they don't want the marriage. Right. They want the glitz and the glamour, but you know, when the hard work comes in, it's like, this ain't what I signed up for.
Right.
I signed up for.
You got to leave that ego at the door. You got to leave them emotions sometimes somewhere else. You know, all types of stuff come with it. You know what I mean? So you got to be vulnerable and flexible.
A constant learning situation, a constant, just everything is every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yep. It's a lot of give and take. It's a lot of give and take, definitely. And people don't understand too that, you know, I often talk to people about it, and people change throughout their marriage. People change throughout life. So you can't expect them to be the same person you marry at 20 or 30 or whatever. They're not going to be that same person at 50. They're going to be changed, you know.
Would hope not. Anyway.
You would hope that, well, either whether it be bad, you would hope that they're progressing. I would like to think that you combine two people together, you both are progressing. But in most cases, that's where marriage ends at, because one person wants to continue to grow and the other one doesn't necessarily want to. And you can either grow together or grow apart. And so to me, if you're talking about the ultimate goal is for you to become one, not for you to act as just one individual and do everything all on your solo tip. When you're in a marriage, you're supposed to be trying to bring things together to be one, to progress forward. But that usually doesn't happen. And that happened with me. It's like, I'm finna go to college. I'm finna do this. I'm finna do that. And she didn't want to do none of that no more. So it's like, what do? You just split.
Okay, but in that situation, did you all have that conversation ahead of time? Like before you got married, did you have that conversation and lay out your plans and your vision and saying, I'm going to school and do all this stuff? She agreed and then changed her mind later, or that wasn't something that you all discussed?
Well, in that case, in that instance, it was discussed because, again, at that time I was in ministry. So I was a full-fledged preacher every Sunday, all the time. So it was always something progressive about me. I've never been like a stagnant type person. So there was always something progressive about me, whether it be to start a business. And I'm very vocal. I'm a teacher by nature. So I'm always communicative, patient, all of those types of things, explaining what needs to be explained. And so, but when you're in that space, remember, if you're operating as one individual instead of operating as a cohesive unit, then you growing and that person can literally get jealous of you. Like, why are you going to the gym all the time? Like, because I want to look good. You get what I'm saying? Or come and go to the gym with me, and then it's a whole nother issue. So you have to be careful in those spaces. Communication doesn't always work when the person isn't interested in seeing it the way you see it. And that comes from, the mindset of being individuals instead of being a collective unit. So
that was the longest answer.
But no,
whether or not you discussed it with her about going to school. But
I get it though. I get it though.
It was just funny.
Yeah, he took us through the steps.
The whole thing.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I was visualizing it as he was talking about it. So I completely get it. And that's true in most cases, right? You can have these conversations and have these great conversations about your plans and all this other stuff. Right. And then when it's time for actions to follow those words, it's like, whoa, right? I didn't plan on this happening, but at the end of the day, you have to vocalize it. That's one thing. Like whatever your wants and needs are, right? You have to tell the other person exactly and be, straightforward and be clear and concise in your expectations, because that's one thing that most people are going to do. They're going to come back and throw it in your face. Well, you never told me that. We never had that conversation.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, that's why to me, there is a certain sequence that things must go in order to kind of shore up your marriage, right?
Right.
And that comes through, when you go to marriage counseling and things like that before you even get married, because usually the marriage counselor is going to ask you questions about your relationship, your expectations, and take you through a thought process, of things that you probably hadn't even thought about.
Right.
And
unbiased at that.
Yeah,
well, they're gonna
in a lot of cases unbiased.
Well, they're gonna ask the questions, and it's amazing. I'm pretty sure the answers that they get during those sessions and the looks that each other have when they answer a certain question, and they're like, "Wait a minute, we never discussed this, and your answer just blew me away because I didn't know you were trying to do it like that. I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't know that was a dream of yours, and I have no want to be a part of that."
Right. And but then that's where you have that option of, now, do you allow your soloism, your ego, or whatever to be the thing that separates you at that moment? Because eventually, whatever issue you're dealing with is going to be something that separates you if you allow it. So if, you don't want to go along with this plan, like, we don't want to do this, like, what's the end all be all to this? Because eventually, you might just decide, I can't do this no more.
Yeah, there's going to be some points in any relationship. And then, of course, in a marriage where you're going to have situations that you might not necessarily be in 100% agreement with, but that's where that give and take comes in, right? It's going to be some things that you might not necessarily 100% want to do, but you do it just because, your spouse wants to do it, or your girlfriend or your boyfriend want to do it. So you just go along with it. But there's some things where it's like, nope, I'm not bending on that. Yeah, I'm not doing that at all. So some of those situations can make and break the whole relationship simply because it's such a high level decision that you all don't agree on. But again, friendships. We had this conversation a couple of times about being friends and having friendship as the foundation of any relationship, right? And I posted it a couple of times, and there were some people who disagreed with me.
About friendship as a foundation?
Yeah, they said they don't want to date anybody who they're friends with, and I was totally lost. I'm like, I don't see how you can progress into a relationship and then a marriage without having a friendship first.
Yeah.
I mean, and I agree.
I don't get it. Like I don't get how that's a thing.
She's stunned.
Like, why would you not want that person to be like your absolute person? Like that means my friend, my best friend, my partner in crime, my business partner, I want you to be my everything. Like I don't understand that.
I wonder if those people were in a successful relationship.
You know what? I'm not gonna put nobody out there. I'll just say this, man. There are a lot of people who have a lot to say about successful relationships and marriages and things like that, and they don't have proof of one.
You are factually right about that.
They don't have proof of one, so they don't have any receipts that they've been involved in anything successful, but they have a lot to say about it. But I won't speak against it, because some people have a lot of experience in taking L's, so their experience comes on the other end of that, right? They've taken a lot of L's, so they know how to lose. So you can't look at them as discount what they're saying, because there might be some validity to some of the stuff that they're saying. Right. But as a whole, y'all talk to me in the comments, man, because I don't see any feasible way that you can build a successful relationship and then marriage without being best friends or friends first, right? And then building on that, because it has to go in that order. And if it does not, you're gonna have some stumbling blocks, right? Because let me say this: you're already gonna have stumbling blocks. Period. So people who have that euphoric, view of what marriage is gonna be like, and y'all watching too many Tubi movies. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Did you say Tubi? Did you really say? Bro, really said Tubi.
Hey, man, and nothing's gonna be, perfect, right? No. So, if you're 30, 40 years old or older, and you still have this view of, a perfect marriage, you're delusional. Right. There's no other way to put it, right? You got to be honest and open with yourself and know that, okay, there's going to be some shortcomings. There's going to be some things that you don't like about that person. And there's going to be some things that you figure out along the lines of you all being married and living together and, building a family and building things together that you just don't like about that person. Right. It's just going to happen. But I think that friendship, again, is the glue, right?
Squares it away, right?
Because I tell people all the time, sometimes you can be in a relationship or friendship and, a marriage, and you might not, really like that person today, but you love them.
Right.
Yeah, there's gonna be those days for sure.
As a friend, but you want to fight at the same time. And it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? She get on my nerves or he get on my nerves, but I love him. That's my girl. That's my guy.
Saves you though too.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you just be like with that's your friend, like, okay, like I don't fool with you today, but like y'all still have that foundation to where it's just not like F him. Like,
for you know what, friends like each other.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that, like as much as you get on my nerves, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I like you, you straight.
Friends like each other, friends love each other, they're friends, all that.
Right. So if you don't have that space to where, because some people say you can fall out of love. Mm-hmm. So if you can fall out of love, so to speak, right? You should have something else to fall back on in your relationship. We friends, you've had my back. You know what I'm saying? I know you're my ride or die. So as much as whatever's going on emotionally, because emotions is a feeling, so you could have those feelings here and there. But if we're falling back on something foundational, such as our friendship, then that's the glue, as Ken said. And I think that's a key part.
I think those are great examples of, when you have a friendship, and then you build on that, then you get married, and then you have kids, and then boom, it don't work out, right?
Right.
You see people be able to co-parent in a cohesive environment and in a great way, and the kids are not, don't become casualties in a war between two adults, because those people had a great friendship and a great connection. So that even though they're not together anymore, they can still stand each other. They can still work with each other. They can still, make things work, especially for the kids. So, again, sometimes it's bigger than just those two, especially when you start, making babies, right? then you add that's a whole nother level of being connected to a person, because now when you have a kid together, you're connected with that person for the rest of your life.
Right.
Yeah, I can speak to that because that definitely, me and my daughter's dad, once we got emotions out the way after separating, like, right. Because you do have to switch the gears, like,
yeah.
But we were like the best of friends still, so we were able to co-parent and just after emotions got out the way, because I ain't gonna act like we just was like, right. But once we got to that, like literally. We was the coolest. So it's like it's that foundation you fall back on of being able to be friends and being able to be cordial, to be able to co-parent, to make it a healthy environment for the kid. Like, it's definitely better than, like you said, than becoming casualties. But that's that foundation that whoever told you they don't need ain't gonna have to fall back on in those situations. Like, that's crazy to me.
Now, what happens in those spaces that causes people to be like, you know what, I'm done with this? I know there's a whole bunch of things, but Kim, what is one? Like, what happened? Like, in that situation, like, I'm out of here, I can't deal with this no more. What would be one?
I think what we already discussed is the biggest thing. I think the growth piece, right?
Right.
You grow and you change as people, and some of those changes that you make as a person, the other person just isn't willing to deal with. Right. And I mean, what's something that may be positive to you, like you said, going to the gym a lot, they may have, watched a lot of TV shows where they see people going to the gym and cheating. So that's their idea of you going to the gym all the time. That's what you got to be doing when you're going, but you steady coming home with muscles and six packs, showing the work, showing the receipts of your work and what you're doing. But if it's a point where I'm trying to improve myself, and like you said earlier, come with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you go ahead and come with me so you can see what I'm doing and you can be a part of the growth and the change, and we can grow and change together. And unfortunately, a lot of people just don't want to do this. Some people get super comfortable in situations and they just want to stay at that point, stay at that level. They don't want to go forward. They don't want to go backward. They just want to go right there.
That's very true. They become content in that love space, and they love the love, but when you know what I'm saying, seeing her gain about 40, 50, you know what I'm saying, you're like, hold on here now.
Well, can't say she, you can say she or he.
She or he. You know what I'm saying? Whichever one. You know what I'm saying? You're like, hold on.
Dudes be out here with they back getting big too. You know what I'm saying? They back get wide too. So, we just can't.
They get it.
Yeah. And the ladies generally will have a legitimate reason because they bear children, right? So they have a legitimate reason for gaining weight. We on the other hand, we don't have a legitimate reason.
Well, technically, some men actually do sometimes pick up, like, so say the woman is pregnant, they have cravings and stuff.
But see, it happens. But it's a choice to eat that chicken at 12 midnight. It's a choice, right? Like if she's eating it. But if she's eating it, that's fine, because she has those cravings and her body's going through a change. You, on the other hand, are just making an excuse to join in on the
cravings be kicking in.
So the baby told the daddy telepathically, "We want this chicken, daddy."
Yeah, the baby gonna be telling the daddy telepathically why he taking the diabetic medicine and why he running around getting roasted at school because he got the fat daddy. You know what I'm saying?
But see,
long term.
Listen, if you're gonna gain some weight, gain it. But listen, don't be so complacent to where not doing nothing. Like now, you know what I'm saying? The brother gained a few pounds, you know what I'm talking about?
They call it happy weight too. I'll be like,
yeah, happy weight. But you know what I'm saying? Get out there and do something, man. Get out there and run. Do something.
You know something.
Yeah, you can be happy without a wide back. It's possible. You know what I'm
saying? Facts. But no, seriously, like, it is a thing. Like, I think so I was younger, of course, with her dad, and that was the thing. So we were at different places, like, in our mindsets. So, you know how usually, because me and him the same age, but they claim men are 2 years behind mentally. That's what they say. Yeah. But he's a very intelligent man. So he wasn't. And so, but I wasn't, I was still, you know, getting it out the mud and struggling and getting things together. But he was trying to take me on that journey, and I ain't never been introduced to nothing like that. So in my head, there was jealousy or yeah, right, or you know, a lot of little pushback, a lot of little attitude. But it was just because I wasn't happy with my life, not realizing he was trying to help elevate me. So at the end of the day, it was like, look, you ain't gonna get it. So I'm going, and you know, back then I didn't get it, but I was like, oops. When I got older, like, oh well.
That happens. It happens.
I was like, what?
Well, you like we said earlier, growth is uncomfortable. So he was trying to help grow you, and you weren't ready to grow at that point. You know what I'm saying?
That's the true thing, though. Some people just aren't there.
Yeah, true.
That's when you really gotta.
Which is proof that you can, even if you're having the conversations in a decent manner, a solid manner, in a loving manner, doesn't mean that it's always received. You can be speaking to a person and you guys just aren't on the same frequency level.
Yeah, and I think that's what our issue was.
I also think it comes in seasons, right? And I think this is the hard part for a lot of people to endure a period where it's rough, right? You got people that will fight through it, and voila, you know what I'm saying? It works, right? They made their way through the storm, and the clouds part, sun comes out, everything's amazing. And you got some people who just not willing to work through things, right?
Yeah.
Because of one thing or another. A lot of people don't work through things because of the examples that they saw when they were growing up, right? Of relationships. And if they have a mom or dad and their mom or dad was in relationships, and every time they came to a fork in the road, they took the one that said divorce. So they've been divorced 3 or 4 times. It's highly likely that child saw that and will take the same recourse. When they met with the same challenges, they're going to just say, you know what, this is what my mom did. It worked for her. So this is what I'm going to do too. Right.
It happens.
And on the other hand, you got people who have parents that they saw go through things. And that's why a couple of other shows I watched, they said it's important for your children to see you deal with conflict, because a lot of parents, they'll go in the room, close the door, and have conversations because they don't want the kids to see the conflict.
Right.
But it's okay if it's healthy conflict.
Right.
You want the kids to see you solve it because you want the kids to see you solving problems, solving things, and being able to work past it, because then that's deposited in their mind. And then when they get in relationships, they'll see that, okay, my parents were able to work through this, so I have an example of what it could look like to get through this point. So I think that's a big piece of it too. Some people just have never seen success in a relationship.
Very true, because they think everything is an argument. They haven't been taught to have effective communication.
Healthy.
And just because, and I'm big on this, just because you loud and emotional does not mean you passionate. That just means you loud and emotional. Any adult should be able to have a cool, chill conversation. And, you know, you might put a little emotion in there, but you should know how to have an actual conversation, and get some resolution out of it, instead of it just being a shouting match, which most people can't deal with because their blood pressure too high, so they ain't going that way anyway.
All right, so this is the question I want to pose to, Benji, Trish, Michelle, and you, the audience, now. Why don't people want to get married? If you could tell me one thing or make it one statement, Trish, Michelle, why do you feel like people in 2023 are saying no to marriage?
They don't want to do the work. They thought it was easy.
Facts.
I'm gonna just say that. Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, side chicks and all the other junk is glorified on the internet. So why be anything else when they're giving all the stuff that you want? Like, you can get anything from a dude without having to be anything.
Right.
Okay.
That's facts.
Benji?
I will say because there's an illusion that the multiple women or the multiple men is better. When in actuality, to me, it strips you of your focus. Focusing on one woman, one attitude, one personality one perspective, I think, is more gratifying. But we live in a space, we come from a space, pimping, playing, all of that is taught to us. So that's what we're accustomed to. So when we see that, oh, that's easy money. I can have this girl, that girl, I could do this, I could do that. Not realizing in most cases, most of those dudes in that space are broke and they got issues. But for the most part, when you can sit down and you can focus on one, because it, you know, you can deal with one thing at, you know what I'm saying, like that. It, to me, it's much better. And I'm speaking from experience. It for me, it's much better.
Yeah, like the old, like the OG said, you can't be chasing peace, PEAC, and chasing a piece, and think it's gonna work out, because it's not. That's not the balance, right?
Right. Yeah. It literally throws. It's fun. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I ain't gonna even lie. It's fun because you get the pick of the litter. Especially when every girl that you could kind of dream that you want or wanted is accessible to you. That's totally fun. But I promise you, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It's going to cost you a lot of headache. Because in between that, somebody going to catch feelings. And what if they ain't feeling you like you think you feeling? And then once the feelings get in there, you're going to have some issues. And especially if you pipe her down real good, and or she, you know, bless you real, it's gonna be a problem. So alleviate yourself from all of that. I'm just saying.
Who's that? They said scared of commitment. I don't even think it's scared of commitment. I think they don't want to commit, like, because at this day and age, why cut off your options, your ability to do this, that, and the next? They know they don't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it all boils down to a want to in the end, though. I would agree. Do you want to do this?
Things have changed. They like for what?
I think it's a bit of both. I think, you know, like LaTonda said, they're scared of commitment. But I also think it's also like Janae said here, in 2023, folks feel like they can get all they need for free without commitment. So why would they take the next step? I think that's spot on, because like the old folks say, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Right. Like there is no, like we talked about last week with it being in the dating scene, the balance, the competition of the freakiest.
Right.
It's people have done so much before they even think about getting into a serious relationship or getting married, that when they get married, there's nothing left to give, because you've given it away to everybody freely, right, before you even get to that. So when you get married, there's nothing special about it. Right. It's in a lot of cases, it's literally a business agreement. It's literally you getting together with somebody to build something. It's not about love. It's about an arrangement.
Right.
Yeah. It's about what can we build together. And I mean, you know, I ain't gonna knock it, because for some people it may work out.
Yeah.
But that's like the video I seen where the guy asked the girl, okay, so if we get married, what changes? Because if I got everything already, like, what's the point? Because she was pushing it, and he's like, for what? What changes?
Right.
It's a good question. That's
I mean, the only thing that's going to change is the feelings and the emotions, because everything else is now based off feeling.
But are you going to be a headache now? He like, why would I do that? Because what else, like, what adds to my life if we get these papers signed and we're married?
Right.
If I already have everything just about from you.
Right.
Besides emotions. Like, I don't think that's making somebody sign a paper. I'm going to get more emotions for you.
No, it don't. It definitely don't. So that's why for me, you got to check if all of that is lined up like beforehand. And friend is there for you when you broke, when you got it, and you know, all of that. You get what I'm saying? So again, we're going back to the foundation. Right. And I think in most cases, cats just picking the finest broad out there to put on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So right. And
my bad.
It's like, I mean, you can't put her in a business meeting. She don't know nothing about no 401k. She don't know nothing about no IRA. She don't know nothing about no trust. She don't know nothing about putting the money into. You ask the woman if the first thing she say is put the money in the savings account, I'm telling you, you're going to have problems. No, you're supposed to put it in something that's beneficial.
Well, we got to pause there, because our race was not taught financial literacy. Right. So a lot of people aren't going to know those things. So
that's what I was just about to say.
To teach you that, though, that's the part. It's to be willing to learn and grow. So as you're trying to teach her this, is she receptive and trying to mimic and walk that walk with you? Now, if that's a no, then that's when it's a no. But I wouldn't just jump in and, do you know what IRA is? No? Okay, you gotta go. Like, there's so many of us that don't know nothing about financial literacy. So I think finding someone that's going to walk that walk with you, like we were talking about, being teachable and growing with you is the part that matters there.
Facts.
Yeah, I think it's because of background too. Like she said, it to me is not even just with Black people, just young people in general, right? I think a lot of people just don't know certain things, and a lot of young ladies have seen situations where their dad was the person taking care of all the financial stuff and taking care of all the bills and things like that. So she doesn't know too much about it. So when she gets with a guy, she might not know some of that stuff. But if you're a guy and you notice that, and she has all the other redeeming qualities that you're looking for, you should be willing to teach her those things and help her grow in that area, because people have this misconception that people are going to come to a marriage all the time with everything that you need from both sides, and that's not true. Right. There are some things that you're going to have to endure together and learn together in order to, bolster that relationship to a higher point. But
I agree.
I think, like we said earlier, the conversations that you have are going to be super key, and they have to be meaningful conversations. And sometimes they're going to have to be hard conversations.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be, vulnerable conversations where, a lot of people don't talk about credit. Well, before you get married to this person, you should know their credit score. You should know their credit situation, because once you sign on that dotted line, now your credit and their credit is going to become the same, right? They what they owe, you owe now, because it's coming out of the same pot. It might not be under the same name, but it's coming out of the same household, which means if they owe money, you owe money. And vice versa. So, those questions got to be asked, and we're going to get to that. But I want to throw up this first, right? What are some of the cons of marriage? We're going to talk about the pros, but I want to talk about the bad part of marriage first, right? And this is why I think a lot of people don't want to get married, because they see these things. And I'm just going to list them off and we'll talk about them. Okay, my list consists of expensive wedding costs. A lot of people want to get married, but in our society, if you don't get married, it's seen that, if you don't have a wedding and this display of your love and affection, you whack, you're broke, so some people won't get married just because they can't do that right now. So they're holding off until they can. They've seen high divorce rates. They see a lot of divorce going on, so they figure, why would I join that, and why would I want to put myself out there just to end up, on that side of the game? A lot of people feel that marriage is outdated. It's 2023. You ain't gotta get married no more. You can just, get your house together, have you some kids, and be on the obituary as my special friend. So
as a special friend,
because what you gonna do? You gonna put spouse? You can't put spouse.
That's daddy's special friend.
Well, you just own her by name with a different name. You know what I'm saying? His name Williams, your name Johnson, and it just that's when
everybody be like,
right?
Oh.
And you're crying a little bit too much at this funeral, brother. Like, what's going on?
All right. And next on the list is financial strain. A lot of people, they understand that they might love this person, or they might really like this person, but that person got some financial issues that they not willing to take on. Or don't want to take on somebody else who might have some financial issues, so they don't do it. They just rather be by themselves. They disapproving of the in-laws. That's a big one too, because when you get married, it's hard. It's gonna be tough if you don't get along with your in-laws. Period.
Can I confess something real quick?
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so all right, y'all pray for me. All right, so peep this. Tell me if this is vain or not. I was told that this is vain. I was like, so I met my lady, right? And I was supposed to go meet the parents, right? And the first thing I prayed, I was like, Lord, please don't let this woman's family, mom and daddy, be ugly. Like, okay, I didn't mean just like the ugly part, but I mean like ugly spirited, ugly this is all of that, right? Because like like I did, I was like, what's she gonna look like when she 80? You get what I'm saying? And so I totally had all of that in my mind because you come from you carry these ideas into a relationship or into possibly get married over what you've dealt with previously. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be careful with that. But yeah, I guess that was a little bit vain. But thank God they wouldn't. So my prayers were answered. So
I mean, that is kind of true. Trish Michelle, go ahead.
I'm just like, I mean, it's just a real.
It's a legitimate concern.
Real stuff, like for real. Like
I was like, hold on, I don't want him to be bent over. I don't want him to be sickly. I don't want him to be this. I'm like, Lord, I hope they help them well.
Health, diseases, and all those things, and mental, like people don't even check into that either, or how the person was raised in their household that they dealt with, because those things travel with them, and then they all this is the person that's supposed to raise your kids. Like that, and then at the end of the day, when we 60, 70 years old, what you gonna look like? Am I gonna like how you look? Like, these are real things. You really gotta vet that. Like, I don't want to turn 60 and you out because now I look like, Father Time and took a toll on me.
That is facts, though. Like, initially I was like, man, that's kind of vain. But I was like, again, like I didn't want to deal with that. Like I wanted to see a healthy family, a mom and dad. Because again, I come from the streets. So when I met people's mom and dad, if they looked like they used to be cracked out or they was out on the streets, that was like a huge turnoff for me. Like it was like, man, because I hate seeing that for one thing. But it was like, yo, it was like, man, God, man, your mom looked like she smoked the snow. And I'm like, oh, man. It was a struggle, bro.
What if she just had a hard life? She ain't even had nothing to do with drugs.
I mean, it's very possible, but I don't want to see it because, it was this one chick. And, man, I met her moms, and her mom looked like she was about to fall over the next day. And I was like, man, I can't do it, dog. I can't. I promise I can't do it.
Some people, some people just are born. Some people are born with the struggle face, and there's nothing they can do about it. And they're the most amazing people,
right?
And I think for a lot of people, that is because of the vain, nature of that we've adapted over these years. A lot of people will miss out on great people simply because they're too caught up in the aesthetics of it, right?
Right.
The aesthetic piece is not lined up for everybody. Somebody is gonna meet somebody that's amazing that might not, maybe meet the criteria for what they're looking for all the time. And it doesn't necessarily mean ugly. Like, you might like dark skin. You might like dark skin chicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you might meet a light skinned chick that you really ain't into them, but she checks all the boxes.
Right.
Or if a lot of ladies out there saying they don't want a light skinned guy, but I told one of my homegirls on my timeline, she can't find a man, but her the love of her life might be light skinned. You know what I'm saying? Like at a certain point in life, some of these things that you have checked off on your list, you might have to concede some of those things within reason, right? Now, I'm not saying go get somebody who doesn't appeal to you at all, because it'll be hard for you to kind of focus and stay there, because at some point, that's going to become an issue.
Right. Yeah. If I look over and the makeup you got on is what's holding you together, I mean, you can't wear makeup all night. Eventually, the makeup has to come off.
You would hope.
No, real talk. I did that before, right? My first date. And this is the one that I was engaged to. But
no, just throw that in there, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's part of we're gonna get there when you want to know, we're gonna answer.
Yeah.
But our first date, I did no makeup.
I love it.
Yeah, because I'm not a huge makeup guy.
I did no makeup.
But I think the no makeup. I think the no makeup thing is great because it gives you a sense of, okay, this is who you're going to see.
Right.
So this is, literally the base model what you will see. Like I ain't got on no makeup, I ain't got on nothing extravagant. And
Right.
for guys, when you go out on dates, I've told my sons don't dress up too much, don't have on all your chains and all this jewelry or whatever
don't
else
do
you
that.
want. Just be
Be
dress
yourself.
humble, just
Right.
humble, dress nice. You know what I'm saying? And then that way, the perception of what you put out on that first date when you meet this person or when you're getting to know this person is not tainted by the things that he or she sees on
Right.
that first
They're getting
date.
they're getting the natural you. They're
Right.
getting the you instead of all of the the put on. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, because if you see Trisha Michelle with no makeup on and she looks amazing on that first date,
Right.
like it can only get better. It can
Right.
only get better.
You know what I'm saying? She put a little, little thing, cover the forehead up. No. Make sure you show the forehead. We gotta.
I mean, I'm me always, so
we know that.
And that means for people, for guys like Benji, you know what I'm saying? If you're under 6 foot, don't be wearing those shoes with the heels on the first date.
Don't wear no platform. Get up.
Listen,
show her your real height. You know what I mean?
I'm comfortable at 5'9", so you know what I'm saying. Fat, skinny, big or tall, it didn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like if my concept always was, if I only kick it, go out with people that like me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be 5'9" at the end of the night. I'm gonna be me, up, down, left, right. So
yeah.
That means when you get old, you're gonna be about like 5'6", because you shrink when you get old.
So you're trying to wish osteoporosis on the brother?
I mean, she kind of right though.
Hey, as long as, listen, this is my prayer. I always pray this. Long as my woman's with me and I can get up, I'm active. I don't mind walking with a cane. You know what I'm saying?
She'll grab stuff off the shelf for you.
She shorter than me, so it's straight. So
no, y'all both need a ladder. Damn.
I mean, you act like you taller than me.
At least she's short and cute.
It's gonna be some stool action at that house.
Hey, but it's gonna be all right though. We're gonna be all right. But again, I'm cool with. I tell people, man, be confident in who you are. Like, the right people will pull up on you, bro. And you got to know genuinely that they like you or that they don't like you. And if you considering marriage now out of this, like I've said, like, they gotta like you. Yeah, they gotta like, because you gotta understand, you're gonna take doodles in the morning, you're gonna take showers, you got your routine where you do your like, I blow my nose in the shower, like I clean the shower, like you got everybody has their own funny moods and their own nuances. You gotta find you somebody that likes you.
Yes.
The real you.
That goes along with my last one on the cons, is loss of individuality, right? When you become, when you get married, a lot of people have that thing stuck in their mind. Well, we became one. Yeah, but you're still individuals, right? You're still your individual person. So you're still going to have some identity things that are just strictly you, right? Yeah. Just because your spouse loves a certain type of music doesn't mean that you're going to love it. You know what I'm saying? You might listen to it because they listen to it, and that's that give and take. But that doesn't mean that you're gonna, because if you got a girl and she loves Beyonce, you ain't gotta really love Beyonce like that, but you rock with it because that's your girl, right? But if she goes to a concert, you really
send them to the concert.
Yeah, you buy the tickets for her and for her friends or something and send them to the concert, but you ain't gotta go. But it doesn't mean that you're losing something in that sense. It's just like, that ain't my thing. I rock with it when I'm rocking with you, but it ain't my thing.
Right.
So, but you don't have to lose who you are in a relationship, and especially in a marriage, because I think keeping that at the core is, part of what keeps you together, because there's going to be some things that you all should have that are different, right? Because
why would a person, if they like the genuine you, why would they be interested in changing the purest foundation of you? If only it is to bring you up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Some people have advice that brings you up, but a person that likes you ain't interested in changing the true essence of you. They actually like who you are.
I think those are people. I think those are people who came into the situation not liking it in the first place,
Right.
and they hope that they would be able to change it at some point. And now that you married, it's like now is the opportunity for me to change some of those things that I wanted to change in the beginning, but shouldn't do that, people.
Yeah, that's a backwards way to think in the first place. If you got things you want to change about me, or in reverse, like, first of all, like then you're not who you want to be with. If you have to change like all these things about a person, like there's compromise and there's all these other things. Yes.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, if a person changes something for you, they're gonna revert because they didn't change it for themselves. They didn't want to. They didn't grow. So they just did it. And now it's a forever exercise to try to appease to you to be this person that they didn't care to be, because if they did, they would have been that. So it's I don't understand that part at all.
That's a fact. That's a big fact.
Twisted mentality, trying to make people who they are. Now, again, I understand implementing new thoughts to kind of help you better yourself. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about them literally trying to change the way your booty jiggle, the way your things jiggle, all of that. They're trying to change everything.
That took a turn. That took a turn.
I mean, but yeah, people trying to do it.
How do people change? Let's bring it back, because you got to explain to me, how do you change how somebody's booty jiggles?
I was like, whoa.
I mean, I don't want to go too deep because I ain't in that life no more. But yeah, I've seen girls get booty jobs and it wasn't the jiggling.
You talking about how the butt fit and how big or small it is? That's different.
Yes.
Hey, the booty jiggle. I
was sitting up here thinking in my mind, I'm like, music wise. So you came into the relationship, I like Wu-Tang. And then you tell me you can't listen to Wu-Tang. I don't think you should listen to that type of music anymore.
Yeah,
whoa. Because if you know me, you're forcing me to make a decision here, and it might not turn out well.
You're getting dropped over Wu-Tang. I'm just saying.
I mean, it might not turn out well for you. So.
Or for like me, like I'm the, social media, my YouTube channel, like all these different things. And then somebody came in like, yeah, you can't do none of that. I'd be like,
yeah, probably.
Especially because I'm not this attention-seeking, no clothes wearing, like there's no disrespect whatsoever. Like, and you want me to do what? Like, whoa. Like, that's my individuality there. Yep. And so the one thing that people don't understand is that if you lose who you are as a person, and this person got with you because you were this person, now that's when things start to fall apart, because you no longer have your own individuality.
Right.
You have no identity. All you want to do is do what they say and appease to them. And then now, eventually, that's annoying. It's just remember to don't lose yourself. You lose yourself, you lose your own personal health and wealth. Don't do it.
Right. Yeah, you can't go from eating not eating meat and then getting with her trying to eat meat. It don't work. You're gonna mess up your gut.
I mean, those things, some of those things like that, as a couple becoming vegan or whatever, if y'all talked about it, and because there is that whole like, let's better ourselves together. Let's try to get the healthier journey. If y'all agreed on that, then yes. But if you just said, I'm taking all the meat out the freezer, this heifer ain't eating no more meat no more, I said no.
Right. You wilding.
Like, I'm getting a burger and we're gonna have problems soon.
see me, like, I don't eat steak, but I know I love cooking one. So yeah, my lady eats steak. So it's no big deal for me to hop in the kitchen and cook her the bombest steak ever. You get what I'm saying? So like, those are like the little things. I don't want to change that. Now, if it's not good for you and it's another issue, then I'm gonna mention it. I'm gonna put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I notice when you eat meat, right. So that matters. That helps.
Yeah, it's all through conversation. So, again, it's a common thing, the conversation piece. Like, you have to communicate. You have to have those open lines of communication and transparent communication, where you're being open and honest and, spitting your feelings out there, because right or wrong, in the other person's eyes, they got to know how you feel about things. So, but all right, so we're going to hop to the pros of marriage. Now, this is the good stuff that, it's not all the pros, but it's some of the most common pros of marriage. Again, we're going to start out with the wedding. The wedding is an amazing piece. And for me, let me tell you something. Like, I'm not. Of course, I'm not against weddings. I have DJ'd countless weddings.
Right.
I've been a part of countless ceremonies, and it's dope, right? But I also see the financial strain that it does put on people. So the wedding is something that in our society has been, thrown out there as it has to be this extravagant thing, and if you don't have it, then you're broke, and then you're not trying to celebrate. But the wedding, people have to realize, is it's not really for the people that are getting married, it's for the people around them to help
right.
celebrate, you know what I'm saying, that union, because they can go to the courthouse and get married.
Right.
And and have them a little wedding and a little celebration and be just fine, right? So but the wedding is a pro, and people like to go through that process, and especially the ladies, because they have this dream dress that they always wanted. They have a lot of ladies have their wedding, kind of laid out throughout their life and just keep adding things to it that they want to happen during the ceremony, which is dope. And I've talked to countless brides when consulting them about the DJ services that that I would offer, and just to hear their thought process of how they want a thing to go was always interesting to me. And I'm like, okay, and to come to the wedding on the wedding day and the ceremony and to see it all play out, amazing.
I agree.
Very dope. So yeah, the wedding is a pro. The relationship legitimacy, and for me, when I read that, what that means to me is, because it's a legally binding piece of paper that you have to sign, right? So that brings legitimacy. When you own a car, right? So you could tell somebody you own a car, but if you come bring them a title, that makes it legit. Like you have a legitimacy. So when you have that marriage certificate signed and notarized and it's official, that's legit. That's a legit relationship, right? So that's what that piece means. And also it has legal benefits, right? First thing I think about in legal and financial when you come to taxes, right? If you married and filing jointly, there's benefits to that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's benefits, and there's things that you get, tax breaks on and things like that maybe single people don't get. Right. So, there's that benefit, but also the financial benefit means you have two incomes. You have two, two people in one household instead of, taking everything on yourself. Now you got two people paying for everything. Right. So
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That could be a plus. Better physical and mental health. Again, the stresses of having to do everything yourself, having to deal with your kids yourself, having to pay all the bills, having to take care of everything. If something goes wrong, having to take care of that. Now you got two people. So the kids got events, different places. You got two people that can go here. So it takes the stress, you know what I'm saying? It should lower your stress and lower, the issues that you have mentally and physically, because you have two people now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now y'all keep getting married, because I am a wedding officiant. So y'all keep getting married and hollered at your boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I got you. I'll make sure you're good. And
holler
I'm
at me too.
And I'm gonna look good doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we guess. You know what I'm saying? But and then the last pro I have on here is, this a great environment for raising children. Now listen, I'm not saying that if you are not married that you can't raise children in a great environment. Right. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, again, for examples like I gave earlier, if you're in the same household, you're on the same page, and those kids know that they have two parents that's supporting them and that are involved in everything that they do, it tends to work out a lot better for the kids, right?
Yeah.
For that kid,
statistics prove that too.
Yeah, for that kid to be able to know, okay, I told mom and dad I had a game today, and I also heard my sister say she had a game today too. So I know that somebody's going to be there because we're in the same household, we're on the same page. We had that discussion. So, that is one piece. It's a lot of other pieces that we could probably bring up that bolster that and say it's a good environment for raising children. But like Benji said, the numbers prove it. It's a great environment for the kids as well. So, that's something to consider.
Facts.
Right.
Should consider it.
Yep. So, all right, the next piece. Well, we want to stop here and
Uh-huh.
let Trisha Michelle tell her story piece of what she was discussing earlier. So Trisha Michelle, we're gonna go ahead and discuss that piece now.
Okay, so Benji, you said, have I ever been proposed to?
Right.
Yeah,
You
twice.
said twice, right?
I said twice. So
Okay.
we'll go with the first one.
She laughed. This
one is a technicality and it's funny because like I was done. I don't want nothing to do with you. You get on my nerves type thing. This is when I was younger, early 20s. I might have even been like 19 or something. I don't know. But to save face, it was a will you marry me like proposal. And I was like, no.
Wow. Hold on. Just no, like straight up.
Yeah, because I don't like this wasn't like a now I'm telling you that I don't want to be with you. This was a I don't want to be with you.
Right.
Like we're not working out, we're done. And then to try to you thought it was enticing, maybe, I don't know. But I want to marry you. Will you marry me? No. What? I'm 19 and I know we young and dumb, but I ain't dumb. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I don't know how he thought that was gonna go well.
I don't understand.
I mean, listen, brother, when you feel like you're about to lose your lady, you go to extreme measures.
Yeah,
but there was some other measures he should have took.
That's a Hail Mary. That's a Hail Mary. That's a 3/4 court. That's a 3/4 court shot right there.
That's from
the free throw line. No, that's a 3/4. That's from the free throw line on the other end.
Right.
You shoot that joint like I just wish this go in because maybe you know what I'm saying she'll stay. But yeah, no, I think to me that's probably the worst time to ask. You know what I'm saying, especially from a guy to ask a woman to marry you, knowing that you all have already been through all these issues and she's basically just said, you know what, I don't want to be with you no more. And then your recourse is to ask her to marry you. That seems a bit odd, but y'all were young. Y'all were young though.
But we were young. And so I was
like, desperate.
He thought that was the answer. And I mean, at the end of the day, to me, we already are a no and we got problems. So why would you even want to set us up for further failure? Because it ain't gonna make me like you now. Like
right.
Like, so that one was that one. Then we fast forward to early 30s. I'm saying, wait, how old am I? Yeah, early 30s. Like, because I'll be 36 in a few in like a week. Week and a half. I'll tell my age. I don't care because I look good. Anywho. But yeah, so this is like early 30s. And actually we were together for like a while. And he's one of those that was like let's grow together, let's build together, let's, you know, improve each other, personal health, wealth, looks, everything, whatever you want to do, talk about it. Great stuff. So it was very healthy. Somewhat. it was healthy until I realized. So he proposed. We were engaged for almost a year. But that I started to realize that I lost myself. So the individual that I was, it's a tricky thing when you are trying to be this whole, like, let's grow together, let's be this. You got to make sure you're not just saying yes to everything. Are you really on board with these things? Or are you kind of giving up some of your things that you really do, like, really want to be or have or hold true to? And so then on top of that, it kind of seemed like once he was able to do all that, it was like, you run me? Like it was seeming a little bit controlling. So he would get mad at some things, like, and that didn't make sense to me. And so I was like, yeah. It was one of our last repeated arguments about just, you want me to do this and it just don't make sense. Like, stuff gotta make it make sense. Like, why are you this mad? Like, and so it was just kind of like, yeah, there's something there that I just don't want to be like my future to have to deal with. So I just kind of drew the line. We both mutually drew the line. We're actually real cool because as a person who's very smart, like financial literacy, business building, investing, all that stuff. So that's somebody you want to teach you stuff. Right. He's also the person that helped me figure out my YouTube page. So like, he's an asset as an individual, a good friend to have around. But it just was a no. And I really don't back away from that decision. Like, I don't like, dang. No.
Right. Not ever. Now, you don't ever be like, you know what? That could have, that should have, whatever. You didn't think there was no bending in you anymore, right?
No, and the only reason why I know is literally within that first week after, like, I felt so free, like weight lifted. Like, I felt just, I don't know, it was a different feeling, and I just knew that that's what I needed to do, and I didn't even realize it until like that first week. Like, this is me.
I dig that.
And I told myself I'm never, like, we're gonna compromise and things, but I'm not gonna lose myself like that.
Right. Now, ever considering marriage from those two experiences, would you ever consider marriage again?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Like, who I'm with now, we've been friends for 16, 17 years. He popped the question, I said yes.
See, there you go.
All right.
I dig it.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, everything she just said, those two situations sounds very reasonable to me. So, you know,
right.
I got a little logical, little level head, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not down there.
Logical level head.
Like, it sounds reasonable to me.
Head,
so,
you
know.
The forehead is massive.
But I think, you know, the last bit of what I have here in my notes was, you know, the questions that you need to ask before marriage. And usually these questions are asked during marriage counseling. You know what I'm saying? Right. These are some of the questions that they talk about. The first question is, why do you want...
So y'all write these down, because you could already be asking these questions before.
Yeah, y'all need to be asking these
down. If you got somebody that you thinking about it with, write these down, ask these questions.
Now, you should be asking a lot of questions, you know, like, do they throw things? How's their relationship with soap and water? All of those things. But we're going to give you some really solid
ones. Those are things right that you definitely should know, that you definitely should notice. But these are questions that you must ask, because they are vital to the foundation of building to marriage with someone. Especially if you're serious and he's already asked the question, or, you know, it's 2023, if she already asked the question, you need to talk about these things, because, I mean, quiet as kept, there are women out there popping the question to guys. So
yes, you know, it's happening.
We want to be all inclusive. Yes. So okay,
Patricia, why you look like that?
Because I'm not doing that.
I wouldn't expect you to do that. I wouldn't expect you to do that.
That's tough. That's tough.
So
I don't know. I'd probably have to grab her by arm and pull her up.
Like come here, baby. Hold on.
Like, hold on. Hold on. What we doing? Like, what?
Okay. Go ahead,
you have to pull out a Uno reverse card on that one. Hold on. Bam.
Right. Hold on.
Let me get on my knee. Let me get on my knee. Hold on. Let's reverse that. You can ask me, but stand up.
Right.
Yeah,
it's the optics. It's the optics.
Everybody's walk of life is their walk of life, and the decisions that they make, whatever. So for me, I will not be that. I won't do that. And whoever it is, just know you better ask, because if you don't ask, I ain't asking you.
Oh man! All right. So
she gonna start an invite list. You better start.
I mean,
things gonna be in the inbox with you, man.
That ain't gonna get them nowhere.
It's gonna get them left on red.
Yeah, they don't even get red.
Good job.
Oh wow! All right. So the first question here is, why do you want or not want to get married? Right. So that's gonna be essential. It sounds very basic, but again, these are questions to provoke thought. Right. To provoke, you know what I'm saying, the thought process, and, you know, really listen to the answer. Right. You might be surprised by the answers that you get to some of these questions, because most people aren't asked these questions until it's too late.
Right.
And, you know, so that's one.
They'd be like, I don't.
Hey, and then you like, there you go. Okay. Well, so this is where the bus stops. This is where I get off. Right. Because some people can't go past that simply because they have ideas like, I want to get married soon. And then the other person is like, nah, I don't have no intention to get married no time soon. But we've been having fun. But that question could be a deal breaker. Right. All right. So the second question on here is, can you see yourself building a life together with this person? Again, sounds cliche, but a lot of people will think about that and say, you know what? Dang, I ain't think about that the rest of my
Really think
life.
about people.
Yeah.
Or
the rest
some
of
people would agree in the beginning and then see what it takes to actually build and renege.
Oh
So
yeah,
you gotta
that
have
happens.
somebody that's sure.
Yeah, that definitely happens
Right.
because again, people change and situations change. So yeah, you're gonna have people who say yes at the beginning because that's the whole crux of it. When you were getting married, you say I do. You said I do to a bunch of stuff that
Right.
later on you're like, I don't.
I feel like that's a constant question you have to continuously ask yourself. Since we use the
I
word
agree.
change, like, is this person still the
Right.
person? Like, am I still the person? Like, you know, you got to ask yourself that question. I think that's a realistic question. That can stays with you.
I think that you gotta. It's a work every day. I think you mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
You have to have conversations every day. You got to wake up and do the same, if not better, for the person that you're talking about. You're going to spend the rest of your life with for day after day after day.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how I've viewed it. And because what you did yesterday is great, it should be memorable, but what you do today can have a bigger impact than what you did yesterday. So I always kind of had that mindset with it.
Yep. All right. The next one is huge. Huge. Do you and your partner have similar views on finance? That is huge because you actually have some people who are very, vanilla when it comes to finances. Get paid, pay bills, save the rest.
Yeah.
Some people don't believe in investing. They believe that investing is gambling, and gambling is not
Very true.
something that they want to do. So that's a big conversation because if you're a person and you believe in the stock market and investing your money and things of that nature, like that could be a deal breaker. Right?
Now I'll say this: I'm more of a risk taker, and my lady isn't a risk taker. But my risk taking comes from how I grew up and the desire to get things done solo by myself. So what it did for me is it was like, oh, okay, like I can't be so much of a risk taker. Let's taper that back a little bit because you're not doing it solo anymore.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately in the end, you don't have to lose the true essence of who you are, but how can you shift that? She's like, why don't you do it this way? Why don't we put it in this second house or do this or do that?
Yeah.
And I personally take it in a way where let the best idea in your relationship win. Take the ego part out of it and let the best part, the smartest decision, the smartest idea, whatever. If you're a smart person, you know when something sounds legit.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like you ain't no dummy. You know if we put $10,000 in the IRA at a 13% in 4 months, we're going to get this. Like, does that make sense to you? Like, you get what I'm saying? And when you got somebody in your space like that, then, you can do some good stuff. So.
Yep, exactly. That conversation piece is important because if you're going to take the risk, at least let her know the risk that you're taking and make sure she's on board with it. Because again, like we mentioned earlier, when you get married, it's, your check, his check, her check, it's y'all check. You know what I'm saying? It's y'all money. So, it's going into one pot. So, you got to consult the other one before making decisions, especially something that's risky.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's dope. The next question on here is a big one too. What are your thoughts on having children? This is a deal breaker in a lot of relationships because you have a lot of people now, especially who don't want to have kids, who ain't thinking about it, who ain't focused on it, who don't want to have kids at all, period. And that's a deal breaker for a lot of people because the other person wants to have kids. They want to have 5.
Right.
And you have this person over here, like y'all, they check all the other boxes and everything else is great. Then you get to this conversation about children and they're like, nah, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
Now, Patricia, maybe you can speak to this. What happens when a woman gets baby fever you don't want no more kids, but all of a sudden she gets baby fever?
I don't know. I don't get baby fever. My friends have them for me. I don't know.
she like my friends have them, baby.
I don't know. There's like there's always someone else pregnant. So I'm like, woohoo, let me go take care of you. I'll watch you, baby. Like I don't know. I don't like I'm really, but those are conversations you have to have because I'm done. Like, so we done or no? Like and then if y'all, you know, because you could very much have that dude that's like, okay, but I want 2 more. Or y'all both are done, and then later down the line y'all get married, and then y'all want one together. That might change. So some things are revisited conversations too. They're not always the end all be all, but yeah, I'm definitely done. I don't get baby fever. They're cute. I love a little baby, but I love everybody else's baby.
She's like, I'm good.
I love to hold them and say, you know what? Here you go. Here you go.
I'm the best auntie. Like, look, you come, like we go get ice cream. Look, you can come and stay with auntie for a month. That is great too.
A month?
A whole month?
Like, I took my niece for a whole month.
That's what's up. You're great, ain't he?
I'm about to let me tell you. As long as you go.
As long as they can return home.
Like it's countdown. We got 5 more days and you going home. Praise
God.
God.
It was, you know, and we going to the beach. We're going to go do this. We're doing all this stuff that you ain't done. What else you want to do? Like that's me. But then there you go. Goodbye.
All right.
Take him to the curb.
The next one is, can you get along with your partner's family? We mentioned this earlier with the in-laws, but not just the in-laws, with your partner's siblings, with the cousins. Because if you got beef with them, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
They can make it really rough for you in your existence. And I have seen families that have run people off.
That is facts.
They didn't have an issue with the person, right? With the person they're in a relationship with, but the family was so horrible to them that they had to leave that person because the family was just that horrible that they just couldn't deal with it. So
I've been there. And
you gotta ask yourself that question too. Can I put up with that for the rest of my life? Like,
and the answer was no.
No.
Yeah.
Because listen, I already got to deal with neither one of them ain't healthy. So I got to deal with every time I look at them. There's me running the risk of. I'm just being honest, y'all. Like, they ain't healthy. They gonna fall. Listen, I have a personal. My ex-wife's mom died in my arms.
Oh, wow.
From congestive heart failure. So like, I knew this was coming. You get what I'm saying? So like, I've been in these spaces where like you sitting there and you have these ideas in your head. But like, I thought I was being vain, but then I ended up in a position to where it's like, dang, she died right. And I was the only one that could help. So like, I've been in these spaces. So when I'm thinking like earlier, my vain thought, like, I want to make sure the family, like your mom and your dad healthy. Like, I don't want to come to Thanksgiving dinner and I don't know if she's going to fall over and she gone the next day. Like, all of that stuff enters your head, bro. And it's tough. But those are my experiences.
But my thing is, that's what I was just about to say. Like I think your experience with your ex mother-in-law, it jaded you in such a way that it could have caused you to miss out on someone great if their parent was sickly, because they're a great person, but we can't control. Somebody could look and be healthy and drop dead the next day. Like,
that's very true.
We don't know that, right? Yeah. We don't know that. So I think, and this is just my estimation, I think a lot of ways, a lot of people put too much emphasis on certain things dealing with outside entities other than the person that you're dealing with. And I understand how it could change the dynamics, and I'm not just talking about your situation. Right. I'm just saying in general, people overshoot things, they overthink things, right? So I think that's a big piece of it for me.
I agree. It's just like when you're putting it all together, man, these are all questions and ideas and thoughts that you have to run over. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, it didn't stop me ultimately from doing what I needed to do. But as you go out there again, sometimes we look for the perfect situation. And we don't always find that. We don't always find
perfect
it, but
ain't reality.
it's very true.
But at the same time, like my dad has congestive heart failure, but he got a couple of other things. But what really has him like not unable to be functioning and whatnot. Well, he can function, but has some problems here and there. Was in a motorcycle accident where he had total hip replacement
years ago,
and this
right?
and that. So it's like that's what really has him seeming elderly and whatnot. But he's 70 something, almost 80 years old.
Yeah.
So
but see that's dope. He's lived a long life. You get what I'm saying? Like they were younger. You get what I'm saying? They weren't like
parents. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I forgot when he was diagnosed with it, but he definitely still kicking.
Right.
So I mean,
see, I always thought in my head that it was a little vain, but you get what I'm saying? Like your experiences and the things that you deal with in life ultimately shape you. So you do, when you're throwing these marriage questions and these marriage ideas and everything out there, take it with a grain of salt, but you know what I'm saying? Don't lose yourself in the process of trying to figure out.
It can make you fear some things a little bit because you don't know. So it makes you a little scared, but then sometimes we utilize our fear to basically make our decisions be okay when you generalize a few people maybe sometimes like, wait, your mama what? Your mama got what? When it's like,
no, it is very true. I ain't gonna lie to it is very true. Like I've been in that space. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, now that's a little unfair. You might have missed out on some good people, but at the same time, everything happened for a reason, and you're with a great woman now. So you did what happened because it was supposed to happen.
And her mama and daddy look good, and they older. They're in their 80s, and they look good, and she looked good, and
Look, all I know is that my parents is older, and my dad is older. They still married. All I know is marriage. So
it's a dope thing when it's solid. When it's real and it's real, it's a solid thing. I wouldn't front. I wouldn't front at all. It's a solid thing. I've been fortunate enough, even though I came from, some crazy backgrounds and a lot of stuff. I was fortunate enough to see two of the dopest marriages, and both of them were my mentors from like up close and personal. Yeah. I saw them argue and fuss, and it didn't change nothing. They still loved each other. They argued and fussed. They loved each other. They went out. They dated each other. Like even in their 60s, 70s, they dated each other. My first mentor treated his wife like that was his girlfriend every day. Every day he'd leave her money on the table before he left out to work. All of those types of things. So I was fortunate enough to see that, and I think that ultimately makes you say, you know what, when it's real, it's legit. So
yeah.
Yup. All right. The next thing on the list, we got two more, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah.
The next one is: are you and your partner capable of working through issues together? Again, some of these questions seem a bit generic, but it's to put you in a thought process of, what is our problem solving like? Have we had issues yet? And how did we work through those issues? Because if you had small issues and you weren't able to work through them, and it took the act of God to get you through these small situations, when you come across something big, and trust me, throughout your marriage, you will come across some things that are just like, woo, this is tough. And how are you going to react, right? Are you going to be able to work through it? Do you think this person is capable of working through it? Or do you feel like, okay, well, that's a good question, and I really don't feel like this person is one to work through it?
Right.
Yeah. That's very, very important, because if y'all can't work, then y'all can't communicate, y'all can't talk, y'all can't create some type of understanding, or this person shuts down when big things happen, like nothing becomes resolved, and it's gonna happen again.
Yeah. Problems will occur. It's not an if and a but, it's a will. Problems will arise, and it's about how will you handle them. Are you willing to work through them? And that's a question. And I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of those sessions when that question is asked, because
I mean, you need situations that happen though too, because I need to know how you react. Because before we even get to will you marry me, like I need to know how are you anyway when something blows up, or how you might want to know how I am. Like Are you crazy and this and that? Like on both ends. Like, how do you
Right.
handle things? And then at the end of the day, it is that question when you do say, let's get married. Like, are you sure this is the person that could work through things? And then you go back and you remember this person crazy. You say no.
Well, just
Or
like
you
Benji
can,
said,
or you can find out how good does it when you actually tell a person how you feel about something. How do they respond to it?
Yes.
Because you can put up a fake front, you know what I'm saying, like you care, but when the actual issue is presented that comes from this person's heart or that they're dealing with, and you just dissolve it like you ain't got time for it, it's whatever. I can tell you a whole lot. So you got to have that too.
But at the same time, if y'all find that answer, then what's the exercise and putting it into utilization afterwards? Are we still coming back to this because you just said yes in the moment? So that's something to pay attention to too.
Change behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It usually, you break a plate, you got to put it back together, whatever, right? But I mean, when you got issues, it depends on how the person changes.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an actual issue, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's a real type situation, you get what I'm saying? That could tell you a whole bunch. So don't overlook that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those situations where it could be, like you said, it could be a deal breaker, man. Based on how they answer it, and just like Benji said earlier, does this person throw things when they get upset? That's the time to, if you're a person and you might have some tantrums, you might want to be honest and say, you know what, sometimes I do get a little out of hand and I'm working on that, and just be honest, right?
Yeah,
and
you
just
can't
be
be
honest.
throwing grits on people, all right? Al Green.
You throwing grits, you got to go. You got to go.
Yeah.
A hot pot of grits.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
They just might need a little punching bag in the garage. So.
Yeah, something. Yeah, but I don't know about the punching bag in the garage when they frustrated, because then you could turn it to the punching bag. I don't know. That's.
Oh no, yeah, that's
kind of. That's kind of.
I mean, but I'm a boxing guy, so you know what I'm saying. It's cool to have it out there. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, for the workouts.
Yeah,
you want to have.
It's a stress reliever. Sometimes you gotta
get out there.
Some people gotta scream into the pillow. Some people gotta.
Yes, a therapist will tell you sometimes to actually go and hit stuff.
I got a way you can solve all of that. It's a way that you can hit something and that she can scream into a pillow, and that your stress can be relieved.
Yeah,
there's a way you can solve all three.
Yeah,
that's a lift your hands moment right there.
And there's a whole lot of
profanity and all types of stuff going on.
Yeah, you can work all of it out.
Yes, sir.
You can work all of it out. See, and that's one of the upsides of marriage, right? It's you can do that, and you have to worry about it.
Take it out.
Right.
Take it out on them. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
So, all right, the last one on the last one on the list is: can you deal with bad habits of the other person?
Ooh.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one, and of course, bad habits are subjective, right? To that person, it might not be a bad habit, but to you, it's a bad habit because some things are just irritating, right? You got some stuff as small as, the way you put the toilet paper on the roll. Does it go this way or does it go that way? Like some things are just small, but it's like, this is irritating.
Right.
Right. I gotta come in here and flip the toilet paper roll, right? For some people, it seems crazy, but for a lot of people, it's the small things that start to amount.
Irritating. Like mine is my ice maker in my freezer. And I found out that it's him. Because when it's making ice, he pulls the drawer out to get some, but he don't push it back. So I was like, and then I opened the door and the freezer just got ice everywhere. And I was like, who keeps doing this? Like, who? So, I got kids, so I'm going to go there first. I'm just watching, though. I don't blame nobody yet.
Right.
I'm like, no. Okay, scratch that kid off. No, scratch that kid off. They're going after him. It's you.
It's the big kid.
Like what?
I was like, yo, yeah, can just push it back. Just push it back in.
I had that experience because I didn't I used to leave the toilet seat up. So in the middle of the night she got blessed and baptized. Ooh. And I so I was like, dang, when she sit down and it seemed so small, but it's a big thing because I can imagine a woman and you're not thinking of it. You don't, your woman goes.
I'm gonna come and put toilet booty on you first before I hop in the shower.
I mean, see,
because you got me in there, so here's the toilet booty, and now I'm getting in the shower.
I mean, but then you got to think of it. It's a real thing. It might seem so minuscule,
it's so
but
disgusting.
It's a real, right. But as a guy, you ain't even really thinking of it. It doesn't even matter to you. And then 2 in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you forget, and then because when y'all get up to go pee, boy, y'all get up and y'all run to that thing like it's emergency.
No, absolutely not. But because I'm gonna fall and trip or something, I don't know. So we're not gonna run because I'm not turning on no lights. Like there's a meme or something like that. The person is like, no lights because I want to be able to go.
Right.
I'm not turning on not one light, nothing. So I'm not running. I'm going slow because I ain't trying to. I'm trying to remember everything in my head. But I'm not one of those like sleep like it's work, like it take a little time, so I'm like, let me not wake up all the way. So if you would have dunked at 2 a.m. I would have been so mad. Like, cause now I'm up, now I got a shower, now
and that shower gonna wake you up like a mug.
Absolutely.
That's kind of a big deal.
But
I understand how.
I wouldn't think of it that way.
But I understand how it could be different for you, because if you have been living by yourself as a bachelor, as a guy for so long, for years, like this is your habit. This is what you do, and you're having to, make these changes. So I mean, it's understandable. But I bet you after one time of that instance, you remember.
Yeah, you do. And you get told.
And I mean, that's why that's the understanding of it all. So you have to be like, okay, he's not used to having a female come in behind him to use the restroom. So I get that. But that's why you would have got the toilet booty. And then you're gonna remember it.
I can totally see you doing that too. Like,
if I had to suffer
baby, why you wet? Like, what's going on?
Only if I'd have said it like a few times too. If I had to suffer something and I'd have said it a couple of times and I got dunked, you go. I'm be like, yeah, you see this?
See, I'm gonna tell me once. I'm a if you tell me once kind of guy, so to speak. If I
mean, in the world of perfection, but not everybody's a tell me once. You gotta. Sometimes there's more times like, hey, because it's a habit. Right. Habits aren't broken with one instant all the time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it takes time. If it took you years to undo it, it's gonna take some time to undo it. So it might not take you years to undo. I'm just saying, like, it's gonna take you a little bit of time to kind of,
it was a thing that you've been doing your whole life.
Right.
Just know I haven't left the toilet seat up since then.
And I'm so proud of you, and I know she's so happy.
Facts. All right. Shout out to Corey Smallwood in the comments. He said, "Bruh, what way the toilet paper?"
let me tell you, Corey. Let me tell you, because my friends group had this discussion, and one was very much so it comes from up under. The other one is it comes over the top. I don't give a damn. Just put the roll on the damn thing. That's my problem. Do not.
We don't want to get in there with no toilet paper.
Don't set the toilet paper anywhere else in my bathroom.
Sometimes people just sit the toilet paper on top of the roll thing. Don't put it on there. Just sit it there.
I don't understand. Don't put it on the counter. Don't put it on the back of the toilet. Don't set it on top of the look. Put it on the roll. I don't care which way you do it. I don't give a damn. Put it on there.
Hilarious, man.
Oh man.
These are results of all living together. Like, I don't like to keep a trash in the house, nor do I like to keep a trash in the garage. I'm once there's trash, take it directly out to the trash can, which should be right by. That sounds very busy. So, no, it's easy when your kitchen's right here and your trash can is right outside the garage right there. I mean, it's easy.
Gotcha. The trash can is in the garage. I thought you said don't have one in the house or the garage. So I'm like, you walk outside all the time?
Yeah. So like kitchen, garage.
So if you ate
let the garage up, right there. It's like
so say you ate a bag of chips, you walking outside to the garage and you come back in and you finish your Gatorade bottle you gotta walk back out to the trash. Now you cooking, so you cut.
No. We're talking about a bag of trash.
Where does this bag sit?
I mean, if it's got food
You might as
in
well
it,
put it in
I'm
the trash
taking it
can and keep
directly
coming up and
out.
taking it out.
If it's got food in it, I'm taking it directly out. I ain't leaving because my dog used to go through the trash.
It can still go directly out, but just buy a small trash can so that it is incapable of being around for the whole day, and then take it out versus just a bag sitting around. Why is the bag?
I'd rather just take it all out. I'd rather take it directly to the trash.
See, this would be a conversation that you would have to have at the marriage counselor, and this might be a make or break moment.
So I'm like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna care. I'm not taking it out. So you want to take it out like that? That's fine.
Yes, every time.
I would just want to, like, logically, my mind sometimes just be like, why? I just want to know. I want to know why.
I don't want no trash in the house.
No, that's my thing. My thing is just the plastic bag in the house versus the,
But see, this is a great example of the dialogue that would occur because
it is.
People think differently, and we were all raised differently, right? We all did different things, and that's also another thing before we wrap up that I would want to point out too is pay attention to your partner's parents and their house when you go visit, how they do things, because that's more than likely how he or she is going to do things as well. Right. So, because that's how they were groomed, that's how they were brought up. So if it's things that you see that are off-putting or that are weird to you, it's just a chance that, you're going to bring that weird stuff to your house. So, it might need to have that conversation.
You got to ask about their past upbringing and traumas too. Like what happened to you traumatically as a child, because those things do carry over. And at least you'll sometimes identify like, oh, okay, this is because, she's been through this, or she dealt with abusive parent, or whatever the case may be. Or no parent, no dad, no,
I think knowing what we know deeper than trash cans and toilet paper, but it can get real because I don't take a liking to if a woman talks disrespectfully to me, like, because I come up in that space. So I don't like, you ain't got to raise your voice at me. You ain't got to talk down or belittle me. You could get whatever you want by talking in your natural, calm, sweet, sexy voice. But all that extra and the waving of the finger and
see, and the difference for me is I didn't come up in a household like that, but I know I can match you, and I'd rather not. And I didn't grew a lot, so we don't have to do that. Let's not do that.
I prefer not to even go there because I have my side of me. You know what I'm saying? I do come from Evelyn Elaine Banks, and she was a whole pimp out in these streets and would walk on the court. She'd go down to the block and slap some folk up and all of that. So I don't even like to go that route. So
this guy,
I'm just saying,
he wild, Benji wild.
He said you're gonna bring the Cat Williams out of him.
No, he is Cat Williams though. Pimp down, little stuff.
All right, y'all. We've had a dope time with this episode and with this topic. We hope that we were able to, enlighten some people or put something out there that you could take with you. As we always say, we like to put the medicine in the candy. We want to entertain you, but we want to help educate you as well on some things. And for some of you all, it's a refresher. For some of you all, it's just an eye opener with some of the stuff that we've talked about today, in hopes that, maybe we change some people's mind. Maybe some people were going to get married and said, nah. And maybe some people were like, nah, I ain't never get married. And they're like, you know what? I might be able to do this. So whatever it is, we wish you the best. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate everything that you all do for us as far as support and love. Before we get up out of here, Trish Michelle, talk to the people, let them know something.
Let's see, y'all. You know what? What I can say is don't let the world and society and social media paint this insane picture of what life is supposed to be or marriage. Stay true to yourself, what you believe in, and what it is that you want on your journey, and vet yourself first and then vet your person. And if marriage is for you, then that's your thing. And if it's not, we're not knocking nobody. But, just make sure you do the journey for yourself, not because social media said this is the new trend. Facts. But, and also, speaking of social media, you can find me on Instagram at Trisha_Michelle_YT, also on YouTube, Trisha Michelle, also the Fiyah Session Tuesdays. Y'all know where to find us. Y'all better go ahead and follow us because we're not stopping.
Right.
Facts. Benji Banks, the man, the brand. Talk to the people about something that ain't pimping.
Well, here's the dope part. 4.6 African Americans are actually married. 4.6 million are actually married. So I know social media paints this idea.
This one say 4.6 ain't a lot.
Yeah. 4.6 million.
Well,
4.6 million African Americans are actually married. So I know the content that a lot of us follow is all about like not married, not this, I ain't getting married, I ain't this, all of that. But listen, that's just because in your profile, in your world, that's what's showing up as content because that's what you follow. But I guarantee you, if you flip over and follow some new people and follow some new advice and some new trends, you're going to get, like our show, you're going to get some better content that's going to kind of give you the medicine and the candy. We ain't going to give you no flopping, so we're going to give you some real information. But there's a lot of programs and shows that out there that's telling you marriage is a beautiful thing. It may not be for everybody. Again, we understand that. But overall, like if you find your person, don't be afraid to lock that person up and go on and do your thing, man. It'll benefit you. So find you one, settle down, and you'll be straight. You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Facts. Tell the people where to find you, my guy.
Man, they know where to find me. Benji Banks. The Facebook is growing. Like we're up to 12,000 now on Facebook, and these videos won't stop, man. They keep jumping, so I'm gonna have to do more lives and stuff, all of that now. So IG BRB 4701. We got a lot of stuff coming up, man. I can't even tell you all about it. If you follow me, just know you're gonna find something. I'm gonna be throwing some new stuff out there at you real soon. The content from the Fiyah Session is going up, so we're making it happen, man. So y'all be on the lookout. We're coming for it.
Facts. Well, I just leave y'all with this thought. You know what I'm saying? Be authentic to yourself. Whatever you're doing, be honest, be transparent in relationships, friendships, and everything. And I will reiterate that you can't build an amazing relationship or marriage without having a friendship first, and I firmly believe that. So try to work on that. Try not to be in a hurry. Be patient. And, everything that you do in a relationship, make sure it has a purpose, because it will, manifest later on in your relationship and in your marriage, hopefully, if you go that route. And like Benji said, hey, marriage ain't for everybody. So we get that. But in the event that, you're shacking for the rest of your life and you're going to end up as a special friend in the obituary, we still gave you some information to help you on that journey as well. So, we wish you the best. We love y'all. We love the support y'all give us. Y'all already know y'all can find me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. Y'all can catch the Fiyah Session on all social media platforms. Just type in FIYAH Session and we'll pop right up. Make sure you go to our YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you be notified anytime we go live, anytime we got new content, anything we got going on that you know. If you're following all the social media websites that we have, you won't miss an episode. You won't miss any other content, and you'll be better for it because that's what we're about, giving you information while it's entertaining as well. Y'all already know how we do it here. It's the Fiyah Session. Peace. Thank you for joining us today. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.